Hi, Messianic Michael back with you, and today we're going to demonstrate how to prepare fillets for long-term storage. And we happen to be demonstrating it today with bass fillets, but we use this same technique for lots of different kinds of fish, and it's good for up to a year in the freezer if you take good due care in freezing. But the first thing you have to do to freeze fish fillets is you have to acquire some, and we like to emphasize prayer. My buddies and I, we go fishing a lot, we catch a lot of fish, and I always clean the fish for everybody. And people wonder, why is this Messianic guy so eager to clean the fish? It's because I remember the days before I learned how to pray when we didn't have any fish to clean. So I'm always happy to clean the fish. So I recommend Ziploc quart freezer bags. They work very well. You get your fillets made and you trim them up real nice. I've seen lots of people at the fish cleaning station, lots of stuff ends up going in the bag other than the part that you want to eat. It really does need to be filleted carefully, trimmed carefully, and rinsed carefully before you put it in the bag, and that has a big impact on the quality. Now the purpose of the water, we got our Ziploc bag here, and the purpose of the water is mostly to exclude the air. So we fill the bag up with water, or almost full of water. We put the fillets in, we squeeze the air out, and then we try and get as much water as we can out of the bag without letting any air back in. We also like to, depending on the size of the family or whoever's going to be preparing the fish, like to select the quantity that goes in the bag most relevant to the family that's going to be eating it. So when we had 3 children at home, you can put up to 2 pounds of fish in one of these quart bags, and that's a lot of fish. But now that my children are at college and it's only my wife and I eating the fish most of the time, we have smaller servings in the freezer bags. Alright, so we filled it up with water, dropped the fillets in. I'm trying to get the Ziploc tight to one edge. So the zip is tight to one edge. Squeeze all the air out. And then the trick is, well, I'm not doing that good of a job, but then the trick is to drain the water out without letting any air sneak back in. And you don't have to get all the water out. The water doesn't hurt anything, but it just takes up more room in your freezer, and it takes longer to thaw the more water you have in there. Alright, and that's in a perfect world, both fillets would be lying flat. That would make a little nicer stack in the freezer. I'll manipulate a little bit. Okay, so we've got them both lying flat in the bag. Okay, and here's another trick that will help as you're storing your fish in your freezer so you can store more. When you're first putting it in your freezer, lay it flat on its own shelf so that it has air circulating both above and below, and that'll enable it to freeze more quickly than it might otherwise. And also it'll freeze flat in a more regular shape. Then you can move it to another shelf in your freezer that contains your other fish, and just by taking a little care, you don't end up with these really odd shaped freezer bags taking up more space than they need to, because if you're praying, you're going to be catching lots of fish and putting a lot away for the winter. Thank you, Jesus.